Hey, gentlemen, full house. We're going live today.
Yes, sir.
J-GILLZ, give me.
You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, you are. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show, Saturday, May 4th, 2024. We're ready to get it in with you live and coming through your speakers here each week on the Beat 105.5. We got a full house today. Got some guests coming in. Got a lot to talk about in the world of sports. And we're broadcasting live from the Rock Palm Broker Studio. YouTube, like us, subscribe, click the notification button so you can catch the show each week. If you're not up early on Saturday morning catching it live, you can catch it at your leisure on YouTube. Like us, notification, subscribe, and click the notification button. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much. And we have our regular J-GILLZ. Good morning to you. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning to the Rad Man. Good morning to the Beat family. Man, is it me or is this week of sports just, man, extra crazy right now? I mean, talking about eliminations in the NBA playoffs. I'm talking about NFL draft. I'm talking about everything right now. It's been going down. Ryan Garcia, the list goes on. It's so much to talk about in the world of sports, and that's why you got to stay locked in to the Real Deal Sports Show.
Yes, indeed. And we have a guest in this, Mike Radney, coming in this morning to talk sports of all sorts with us. Spend a little time with us on the show this morning. Good morning, Mike Radney. Mike Rad? How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, Rad Man. Good morning, J-GILLZ. Excited to talk sports of all sorts. I saw J-GILLZ. I saw his Miami Dolphins make some signings, while also the Bills made some signings as well. So the AFC East is going to be competitive. But, man, when it comes to the NBA also, some people will point it all out on the court. Nothing's better than playoff basketball.
Absolutely.
That's right. I see a Dolphin jersey in the background there, man. We got, for your people on YouTube, you see the jersey there, the Dolphin fans, NBA playoffs. Let's get a quick one. Odell Beckham, man, what does that mean coming to the Dolphins?
Oh, man. First of all, the player, OBJ, we all saw what he had in him last year with the Ravens. He looked electric on the field last year when I was watching those Ravens games, those quick slants. When I saw the speed on Odell, I said, oh, wow, who was that? I thought the Ravens don't got no receivers. No, that's just OBJ. I'm like, oh, he still got some in the tank. And to put that player into this Mike McDaniel's offense, it's like a perfect fit, seamless fit. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle. Now, just the motions and the movements that which you could put Tyreek all over the field now. You got OBJ, who could be your X receiver now. He's got the speed. He's got the hands. You know, he hasn't dropped the pass, I don't know how long. Oh, man, this right here with the speed in the backfield, Dolphins just drafted Jalen Wright, another speed running back, Raheem Mostert, Devon A-Chain. This Dolphins offense just got even more electric, and I'm just excited to see. And not to mention, we talk about the money that you had to spend. 1 year, $3 million deal. That is, you can't beat that. Or up to $8 million in incentives, and I'm praying and hoping that he gets to $8 million because I'm pretty sure it's a game based, playing time based, touchdown based. So go ahead, have a great season, get your money, and man, this Dolphins offense is probably just getting to be unlocked. I can't wait for September.
Sound like a division. You think they got enough to overtake the 4-time division champion Buffalo Bills this season, J-GILLZ?
They got to do it. If it's ever a time, now would be the time. They had a chance last year, last game of the season at home. They blew it. Shout out to Deontay Hardy with that kick return, changed the whole momentum of the game. But, if it's any year to do it, this would be the year. But I'm looking, this is a locked and loaded roster. It's got some good veterans. The depth this year has been phenomenal. Let a lot of key free agents walk, Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt. But the mere amount of talent that they signed this season for reasonable money, I think the Dolphins are going to be very, very good. And not to mention the Xavier Howard money, that's just going to be kicked in after June 1st. Still a lot of great free agents out there. I'm hearing rumblings of Justin Simmons still available. And, the Dolphins might just have enough money to go and get him at the beginning of training camp. So, I mean, it's the sky's the limit. And, some other good pieces, though, that Buffalo made. I know we're going to get into that, too. And I like that move that they did. I really like that move. fits seamlessly to me. But I think that this is going to be the year, hopefully, for the Dolphins to get over the hump.
Oh, J-GILLZ. Oh, J-GILLZ. I love the hope. I love the optimism. And I really enjoyed seeing the OBJ signing, which is a trend that we've been seeing where teams are now getting these quality veterans where you know what they are, what they can contribute there to your team, and signing them to a one-year deal. You get these NFL players are just mercenaries. They're signing in to do what they can contribute. If they perform very well, the very next year, they could get another one-year deal and get even more incentives, more money. But it all comes down to one thing. On paper, the Dolphins looks like this could be their chance to dethrone our Buffalo Bills. Isn't that right, Radman? But however, it all comes down to that quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. His ceiling and his floor is going to be the determining factor of what Miami is going to do. But we shall see. It was a great signing, and the AFC East being competitive finally is something that's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, he may be a better option in Miami than in Baltimore, because in Baltimore he couldn't seem to break containment and he couldn't get away from his defenders very little. He did very little in Baltimore, but with a faster guys on the field, that may allow OBJ to get open and use
in the offense, Radman. The offense too. You know, Mike McDaniel scheming it up. It's going to be electric. But I don't want to overlook and overshadow the signing of Chase Claypool to the Buffalo Bills. I thought that was a savvy pickup from Brandon Beane. He, as you know, he played for Miami last year. Didn't really fit due to the scheme, due to the style of play. But when you look at him early in his career, he really excelled. You know, didn't reach 1,000 yards, but 800 yards, 9 touchdowns, 800 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was when he had Big Ben. Josh Allen is probably the closest thing to that he's had as a quarterback since he's been playing. He had Justin Fields, he had Tua, but Josh Allen is a different beast, and he's going to throw it up to him. I think that you just put him on the boundary. I think that the Bills got a lot bigger. You know, Chase Claypool, 6'4", 200 something. You got Keon Coleman, who is hilarious, by the way. Already a Bills Mafia's favorite. You know, that was a great pickup, great personality. Can't wait to meet him in the off season. But you know, I think that the Bills finally have an identity, bigger team, much bigger. You know, just throw it up, and I think that it's a good fit. Ultimately, it's up to like Mike said, the quarterback play, and Josh Allen's going to have to prove that he can get it done in big moments, because we have yet to see that too.
Absolutely, and you're glad you mentioned Keon Coleman. We do have a soundbite from him, BacSpin. If you could play what Keon Coleman had to say about Josh Allen.
I'm having my low moments, my high moments there to make sure I keep everything neutral and just be able to focus on the next thing coming forward. The emotion's been neutral, man. It's been a great mutual interest. And when I came on my 30th visit, I told him, I was like, why y'all let me leave? I plan on coming back. So, we ended up making that happen. And, the emotions, they good. I knew I was getting picked. I had the phone call with him. So it's just been great. I'm excited to be here and just ready to get to work. Right? I'm going to start with this. I'm going to answer the second part first. I think it's very necessary, because if you don't have the confidence in yourself, how is anybody else supposed to believe in you? But I think the confidence comes from putting in work. God blesses you with some things, but the rest you have to contribute to for yourself. So just the work that I put in, and the results that have come from that, just staying humble. But also, there's a certain level of confidence you got to have to be able to play the receiver position in particular.
Absolutely, gentlemen. He's full of confidence. Great sound bites. We'll play the one about the Macy's coat later on. That's another one, man, outstanding. American shop as well. We hope he can play as well as a good shopper that he is as well. Because he said he talked with Josh Allen on the phone. He feels like Josh Allen said, this is the guy for our team. This is the guy he needs, a guy that makes plays when the play breaks down. And that's when Josh Allen is most successful, is when the play breaks down and he's scrambling around and ready to run. He can find someone like a Keon Coleman that can also jump because of his basketball skills. He played at Michigan State for Tom Izzo on their basketball team. And Tom Izzo just don't take anybody on that Michigan State team. They always in the NCAA tournament, always seem to make the Sweet 16 each year. And he had Keon Coleman on his team there for 2 years at Michigan State. And so they transferred to Florida State. The guy got leaps. I think he definitely can make it happen for the Buffalo Bills. He can be an asset along with Claypool. And also the other pieces they bringing in. They're bringing in a lot of different receivers. So it's going to be interesting to see how Josh Allen is able to use all these different pieces that he's going to have this upcoming season, guys.
However, one point I have to say there, Radman and J-GILLZ, I see how you both end up liking the signing. For me, it just seems like a low risk, high reward type of signing that he did. Another 1-year deal, another mercenary deal, as I like to call it. But when it comes to Claypool, like was mentioned, his first 2 seasons there with the Steelers were very productive with the established quarterback. However, some things came into question was his work ethic. Yes. Now, he's a big body, 6'4", 238 pounds, ran very fast, about a 4.40. However, because of that work ethic issues, he ended up leaving the Steelers, who's known for handling different types of personalities, went over there to the Bears. The Bears also released him, and then from there on to Miami. So one thing I know that you guys would always say is that it's always very interesting when you see a very talented player move from team to team. That means something that happens behind closed doors in the locker room is a red flag to look out for. So if maybe this could be the time where he's still young, only about 25, has that pedigree of a former second-round draft choice, maybe this could be the time where he could put it together. He doesn't have to step in and be that number 1, number 2, or even the number 3. Those spots are already secured on Buffalo's offense when it comes to the wide receiver. Or maybe him being that on the back end of the wide receiver groups, 4 through 6, if they keep 6 wide receivers, then he could fit there very well. And the one aspect that I'm noticing a trend across the NFL with the new special teams, and when it comes to the kickoffs, I think you're going to see a lot more bigger bodied guys who are going to be able to shed blocks, be there on the back end of rosters. So could be a factor for him to come on through. And that's another reason why I like the other signing that they had there for Deion Jones, an off-the-ball linebacker, has some speed. He wasn't right ever since his shoulder was hurt, but with him adding depth to our linebacking division, I think he's going to end up being pretty well, end up making that roster as well.
Yes, indeed. As Mike Tomlin always said, if you see a guy go from team to team to team, and you say, wow, he's a pretty good player on Sunday, this guy looks good on Sundays. But it's usually something about attitude, something about how they carry themselves during the week, in the building, in practices, that teams don't like about a player. So Mike Tomlin gave you that red flag years ago. When guys bounce around from team to team, it's usually not what they do on Sunday, because you see the eyeball test and say, wow, this guy is producing on Sundays, but it's usually something that they're not doing or that the organization does not like how that person carries himself on a daily basis within the building and within that they can see and say, oh, wait a minute, this person doesn't fit. And Claypool has been around. It's something to me that when Mike Tomlin said that statement years ago, I think Claypool is one of those guys. But we got to see if he's turned himself around. And maybe it wasn't. I think it's attitude or something, or they say he gives up on plays and things of that nature. Well, let's see how he goes here in Buffalo. Guys come here. A lot of times they get into the culture in Buffalo and they resurrect their careers. But next, I want to go right to an interview with who I liked as one of the best, I think, my favorite pick of the draft, the center. The Bills been having Mitch Morse for the last 5-6 years, paying him $5 million. I thought they should have cut Mitch Morse 2 years ago and got younger. And they finally, Brandon Beane has seen the light, and he drafted the All-American center out of Georgia, Cedric Van Granger. Let's see what Cedric has to say about coming to Buffalo.
Well, I know that it is a great organization, really good football players that have been around in this organization. So I really just look forward to trying to work as hard as I can to hopefully be able to contribute. Yes, sir. I was able to talk to Coach Cromer. I remember we saw each other maybe a few weeks back, and he was really impressed with me. So he said that I fit in well with what he wanted to do, and he felt like it helped me a lot. So I look forward to learning from him. Honestly, I have no idea. We'll see what the Cards have, but my biggest thing is I want to be able to help my teammates out the best way I can.
Absolutely. And he comes in as an All-American from Georgia, started on their national championship teams. They've been to the national championship 2 out of the last 3 years. Should have been in a better seeding in this past year's. I thought they were one of the top 2 teams this past year again, but the voters didn't think so in that. But needless to say, Cedric Granger, this young man can play. He's athletic. I think all he needs to put on a little bit more weight on his lower body, and I think he'll be the Bills center for the next 5 to 10 years, if possible, with barring injuries. The young man is quick, he's agile, and you heard him mention the offensive line coach, Cromer. Cromer likes him. Cromer likes, and he's athletic, and him moving around at the center position with key blocks and making plays. I think he's going to be in there to start the season. I'll be surprised if he's not the starting center, because there's no need to move somebody from guard over to center. Keep everybody else intact and just put your new center in place and go from there. What do you think, guys?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a phenomenal pickup. You know, Georgia Bulldog, played in the SEC, big. Put him right next to Osiris Torrance, and the Bills are just getting even younger on that offensive side. I love the pickup.
Absolutely. Mike Rad?
So I have to say, I think I see him as I don't see him starting right away. I think he'll take some time to develop. Like you said, he needs to put on a little bit more weight for an offensive lineman position. And for him just being a later round pick, he has a great football IQ, played at a great school. Georgia Bulldogs, was a multiple year starter. But one thing that you can't do is why he ended up dropping there in the draft despite that is because he has short arms. And so compared to guys who are going to have that initial get off who could be just as athletic, and then there in that center position, I'm not sure that he's going to be a lock. I think it's going to, for him to maybe be like the backup center position. I think he's going to be there to learn, get a little stronger, get a little more muscle mass on him. And then maybe the next 2 to 3 years, we could see him sliding into that role. But immediately I see him as a nice swing piece and also a developmental player.
Okay, really? Okay, you think you think his arms are small? You don't think he can come in and handle the NFL lineman?
For offensive linemen, he has shorter arms, so that ends up being one aspect. And like you mentioned there too, Rad, man, is just he needs to put on a little bit more weight for that center position, and doing that really quickly doesn't really help out all that well. Sometimes you end up needing that year or two of that development. So I see him just not really having that immediate impact. I don't see him being a starter. And plus, we've seen the history when it comes to Sean McDermott, when it comes to the roster, they really value having those veterans, people that get the offense, having that leadership start in those roles. So maybe it's possible for the first couple of weeks, we see him as a backup, but then over time, you may end up seeing him get sprinkled in and later towards the end of the season becoming a starter. But day one, I just don't see that happening.
All right. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. We like what you have to say there on that, on your commentary there, but you cover the Bills exclusively. Definitely. He definitely got work to do as a lineman. Definitely work that he has to do to get himself up to that level. But I think if through training camp, and they may be able to go with him, especially with him playing against the best defensive linemen throughout his career and playing in big games. This man has been in major big games. That's why I think his experience might be able to help him adjust to the next level. But we'll see when they get to training camp. Training camp is going to be big. If not, they can always revert to moving the guard over to play center for the Buffalo Bills this coming fall. They always can make some adjustments. Or he could even move into, Cedric could even move into a guard because he's a guard center. He could even move into a guard position because he's very athletic. And I think he's going to be on that Bills offensive line sooner than later. Definitely for sure. And one last interview we have BacSpin with Dwayne Carter, the draft pick out of Duke. Let's see what he has to say about coming to the Buffalo Bills.
I think it'll be along the same lines. Honestly, the best part is I just don't have school anymore. So I don't have to worry about that. But outside of that, I can't wait to get here, learn the landscape, learn Buffalo, and actually figure out, where I can make the biggest impact, where it will be technically my community outside of this facility and, the team. So I got to get my boots on the ground, figure it out, but who knows? That's TBD, honestly. We're working with, so one, I'm stoked. To play alongside a guy like that. He's a monster. I just remember when he came out, I was kind of coming into college. So that's a lot of what I saw was him, but I mean, through the pros, continue to dominate. And you talk about, I mean, he might have reached out. That'd be cool. But honestly, my phone's been all over the place. So I haven't really got to go through everything yet.
Yes, indeed. He's going to be working with Ed Oliver, rotating in with Ed Oliver is the plan right now. He's a guy that we could use on that defensive front, and he can make some plays happen on defense as a rotational guy. Very smart guy out of Duke. Team captain for the last 3 years there. And notice Van Granger also was a team captain. Several of the guys the Bills drafted were team captains. That showed you their leadership. So you could tell a lot of thought went into the process of drafting these guys for this coming season. And Dwayne Carter, I think you're going to see him make some plays, especially in the rotational role, and also being a team captain in college, as well as Cedric Van Granger as well. Van Granger, I think these guys are definitely going to see some time. Right, Rad man, like Mike Rad. Excuse me, Mike Rad. I'm the Rad man. Yeah, Mike Rad.
There's another Rad man in the building.
There's only one Rad man. But when it comes to me, Mike Radney, I do have to agree with you there. He's going to end up being a great rotational piece. He's going to get to learn one thing Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane loves are guys who are captains, who are leaders, who are high character guys. That's number one there first that they look for. Then he's a wide-bodied, 6'1", 300 pounds. High motor does not take plays off. They love that. And so with him being the back of Ed Oliver, like you said, he's going to be able to learn, and they like to rotate those D linemen around. And our teams are built from our lines out. So he's definitely going to be a well addition to the Buffalo Bills.
Your thoughts, J-GILLZ?
Oh, man, I had to agree with both of that. You know, this is a great job by Brandon Beane, in my opinion. This we could look back at this class, and from the Ray Davises to the Keons to the Cedrics, you know, we can look back, Cole Bishop, we can look back at this draft and say, wow, they really laid the foundation for the future. So I think that we got to give him his credit. You know, he typically does well in those later rounds. He had a lot of later round picks. And I think ultimately, you know, it takes 3 years to really evaluate. But I think that they definitely got quality depth and leadership in this draft. And we got to give Brandon Beane his credit where it's due.
You really do. You really do. He definitely did well with this draft. And he got to go in and continue to make things happen with the draft. And you're still bringing guys in. So it's going to be a work in progress for the entire season for sure. It's going to be an entire work in progress and see exactly what the Bills can do for the entire season.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. And let's get to our commercial break. Miriam Rivera Insurance. Keep in mind with Miriam Rivera Insurance, award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, auto, home, health, and life insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Call her at 585-360-0094. Give Miriam Rivera a call to insure high-quality insurance. If she saved me and my family money, hey, she can save you and your family some money as well. And I also want to thank the people that have called in from stating that they heard it on Real Deal Sports Show. She's been helping a lot of people out, and she can help a lot more people out as well. And that's why she's an award-winning Farmers Insurance Agency agent, but she also has Progressive and other insurance products that she's selling. She can help you on everything, including real estate, buying a building, insurance for that, car, homeowners, life, the whole 9 yards. Check out our friend of the show, Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. Once again, 1038 Lyle Avenue, 511 Bean Road. Check her out as soon as possible. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, guys. So it's a lot going on around the league, around the world of sports. Definitely a lot of things happening. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook and at Real Deal Sports Show. It costs you nothing but means everything to us. So check us out, like us, subscribe to the show. Right, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely. Every time, every trip. And man, oh man, it's been phenomenal. And I know we got a couple great special guests coming up. But just the prelude, man, the NBA playoffs have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say.
Haven't they?
Yes, sir. And one thing that we've noticed there, obviously, when it comes to the Lakers, a lot of questions about LeBron James' future. but also when it comes to the security of these coaches. Just after that loss and only after 2 years, the Lakers' entire coaching staff were given their walking papers.
What does that say about the Laker organization? That said that it seems like he didn't meet their expectation or the goals that was set for him as a coach. When you start firing coaches, that doesn't look good for your overall organization. It really doesn't.
It definitely doesn't. I don't think that, I'm going to take it all the way back. This is for real Lakers fans right here. I'm going to take it all the way back.
Talk about it, J-GILLZ. Talk about it.
LeBron James arrives to L.A. We're probably one of the most young, dynamic rosters to ever be assembled. I'm talking about Brandon Ingram, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma. I'm talking about a youthful, explosive team, Josh Hart. Guys who are making, young guys who are making impact plays. We trade all of that away for Anthony Davis. We get the chip, and then AD and LeBron just aren't enough. They just can't assemble that roster to really make it happen. I mean, this is the first time in AD's career that he played. I think AD played about 70 games this season. Mm-hmm. LeBron James played the most games as a Laker ever. This is out of his 6 years in LA, he played the most in LA this year, most games. You had LeBron, you had AD, you signed Austin Reeves to the contract, you signed Rui Hachimura to the contract, you got D'Angelo Russell. I mean, what? I don't understand how they're going to blame Darvin Ham for this roster. We got to look at GM Rob Pelinka. We got to look at LeBron and AD as the leaders of that team and say, why aren't y'all getting it done? They got the Jackson Hayes, they assembled this roster and they just couldn't get it done. And I don't think that's a bad thing on Darvin Ham. I think that it's been bad roster construction, and I don't think that the Lakers should have ever traded for AD. Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, are you kidding me?
Wow. That's
Kyle
a lot of
Kuzma,
talent.
Jordan Clarkson and Josh Hart. You see what Josh Hart is doing with the Knicks right now? Man, I look at the roster that we had, and I just wish we could have still had that young team. I said that's just my
sound like days gone by, J-GILLZ.
The thing I wonder there, J-GILLZ, is that you always hear about the big names, but you mentioned two players who I felt like it's just I think they just disappeared. It was a ghost. It was a magic trick where D'Lo, where was he on the court? I felt like I saw him there, but for some reason I didn't see any production. Same thing with Austin Reeves. This is the time when you need everybody to be able to score. You can't show up and just do 10 points and think everything is good enough. We need that maximum effort, and it seems like when things came close where things hit the fan, you didn't see any mobilization. You saw D'Lo sitting alone by himself, not in the team huddle. You see LeBron James just looking utterly surprised when they didn't want to have a review on a call. It just seemed like all these pieces that were constructed didn't mesh well all together when they needed it most.
Absolutely. And especially when you see the takeover. And I ain't talking about Jay-Z's takeover. I'm talking about the takeover of the league. I'm talking about Anthony Edwards, Luka, Shea Gilly. These guys are all moving on to the next round. Yet Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Brian, all these guys, Jimmy Butler, all these old heads are done in the first round. You need youth in this NBA. Even Damian Lillard. Bye, Dame. 34-year-old Dame. Had to go. Who got him out? Tally. Young kid. These young kids are making moves, and right now, the Lakers just don't have the youth that is needed to really be an elite team in the modern NBA. And I can't wait for the game tonight. My God, this is going to be a clash of the Titans. This is Drake going up against Kendrick. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves versus Denver Nuggets in Denver. I can't wait for that game.
That's going to be a good one too. And the series, a lot of good series, a lot of good ball. The Knicks in Philadelphia, I thought was very entertaining for the fans to see that type of play. The big man Embiid tried to get it done, playing on one leg. It took me back to the Willis Reed days of the 70s. This man came out there, gutted it out, tried to do everything he could to push the 76ers forward. But you can just see the energy level of the Knicks. They came out and they were just double treatment. They looked like a bunch of bees out there. They were just double. Whoever Philly had the ball, they had double teamed everybody. I said, man, how many players they got on the court, man? They were just running all over the place. He was subbing guys in. I thought that was a great coaching job by the New York Knicks head coach. I mean, outstanding coaching job. That he outcoached. He definitely outcoached Nurse.
Wrong series. Yeah.
That was a great coaching strategy to put the pressure on the 76ers and force them to either shoot or pass the ball, get rid of the ball, do something. And that helped the Knicks prevail in a long series. I mean, heck, a 6-game series. They really pushed it, and now the Knicks move on. And I believe they move on against Indiana now. The Pacers, who also took a beat down Milwaukee Bucks team that just you could just see they were just limping. Thank you, Indiana, for putting them out of their misery. They just look sad out there, man. They look like some guys at the Y, man, just won't give it up, man, but out there trying to get it in, man, trying to get their 10 or 15 points a game, and Lillard shooting from half court. Man, come on, man. You're not Stephen Curry, man. Come on, man. You just shoot. He just was just shooting from everywhere, man. He just got frustrated, and you could just tell the team dynamics just never was there for the Milwaukee Bucks this entire season. From firing the coach, you just knew once they fired the coach and the players had a mutiny against the head coach, it wasn't going to end well for the Milwaukee Bucks, right, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely, and then to add insult to injury, man, we have to highlight Patrick Beverley. I mean, how classless can you be? You know, as members of the media, if a player did that to me, the lady handled it well, but I mean the audacity to just tell the lady in front of everybody, get the mic out my face, please. I said, get the mic out my face. Shooting basketballs at fans. I mean, how old are we, Patrick Beverley? How old are we?
Well, Pat Beverly, he later, it was reported by the same reporter that she got a call from Pat Bev personally with him apologizing for his behavior. But I will agree with you, J-GILLZ. He was obviously frustrated, lost his cool, and was very rude to the reporter. But I'll at least be happy to say that he did reach out and correct his actions and apologize.
Hey, man. Well, I've seen if that was the Rad Man who he was talking to, I've seen the Rad Man in action.
It would have been a show.
I've seen chasing players down the red carpet telling them off before.
Yeah, man, that's your job. You pay. That's part of your contract. Is to you guys speak to the media, and that's horrible that he handled himself in such a manner, such disrespectful manner. Hey, you win gracefully, you lose gracefully. You lost, yeah, you upset. You had your team got blown out in the end. So, hey, man, you just talk to the media and walk onto the locker room. All he had to say was, well, hey, we just didn't play our best or whatever, and just leave the court. But don't talk like that. I mean, you just can't. That's and I'm sure he probably, I don't know what their situation is like the NFL. Players in the NFL get fined if they don't talk to the media. So I don't know if he's going to get a fine from the Bucks or the NBA. But no, you don't conduct yourself like that at all. What do you see for the next series, J-GILLZ?
Man, so as far as the Knicks and the Pacers,
yes,
I think that's going to be an electric series. I'm very, very excited to see. Because like you said, in the first round, both of these teams, the Knicks and the Pacers, kind of was playing the team, a limpy team, injured teams, both stars fatigued and older and just hurt. And Giannis and Embiid and even the Damian towards the later end of the series, he ultimately ended up finishing that series, but he missed a couple games as well. So when I look at both of these young, healthy dogs of the teams, I mean, I'm excited to see this series. I think it's going to be a great young series. It's going to be fast. It's going to be electric. Might even be one of the better series in this playoffs, in my opinion. So I think that we got a lot to be excited about. Brunson going up against Talley and those guys and Tibbs. Let's see what he got. Let's see what Tibbs can do against this young team. And I think they're going to walk him down. Those are some dogs over in New York Knicks, and I think that they can ultimately possibly get to the finals. That's how talented this group is.
Really? Wow. I've been hearing that a lot of Knicks fans, my man, George Fontenette and all the Pat Freemans, the Mighty Open, them, oh man, they talking to Knicks. They've been talking to Knicks all season. Don't tell me this might be their season,
Get
J-GILLZ.
Glass Johnson on here.
What, right.
From last year. But honestly, I mean, I just don't trust the Celtics. Never trusted the Celtics for whatever reason. They should have never fired Ime Udoka, and I think that karma is going to be something else because I just don't believe in that team for some reason. I didn't think they were going to beat the Warriors in the finals. They didn't. Even though they were up in that series, ultimately they fell to the Heat last year. I don't know what it is, but they're just having some missing piece. They have all the talent in the world, but just can't seem to put it together. So
the lack of a killing instinct.
That's it.
Just to be able to close, to have that dog in them. And it always seems to show up in the people that say, I looked up to Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, and then when you see it, when you needed it most, you just don't see it.
Just don't see it. That's in JT and Jaylen Brown. JT and JB. They just don't have it. That's a perfect analysis. They don't have the killer instinct. That's exactly what I'm seeing. I seen it in Edwards. I seen it in Jalen Brunson. I see it in Jokic and Jamal Murray. I don't see it in nobody from the Celtics, and I think that'll ultimately be their downfall.
Absolutely. And you brought Edwards. Man, I am shocked that this young man is carrying the team and that the team is playing very good team ball. And for them to bounce Phoenix like that, man, you think Durant is on his way out or he already done left Phoenix? He's looking for his next team already, Durant, because that's what he does when he takes an ass whooping like this, man. He doesn't want to play with that team, he seems that. He always want to leave and go to the next squad.
That whole team is going to have to get blown up.
The
The three main stars is taking up all of the cap. Something's going to have to give.
The GM already doubled down and said that 28 teams will 28 teams would wish they had their roster. But so you know what I mean? They gotta find some way to get it together. Maybe you could try Bradley Beal to the Heat and get some pieces or something like that. They should have never let Chris Paul go. They should have never let Chris Paul go. They needed a point guard. They need some more size. Nurkic isn't enough. So I would love to see KD get traded to the Knicks for maybe a Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, something like that. Him and Brunson, that way he could just be, as Mike Radney said, that mercenary, just go ahead and just a plug and play guy, a killer, an assassin, and let Brunson do his thing. But ultimately, I think that the Phoenix Suns definitely need to do something. Right now, they ain't doing nothing.
And BacSpin, we have a caller on the line?
We had a caller.
We had a caller, but not any longer.
Oh, okay, great. Hopefully they'll call back in. They can call right back in.
Well, one thing I want to be able to hearken on is just, I think that we already seen it coming, but I think now it's pretty much official, that changing of the guard. Our older players, our older superstars, they're on the decline of their careers. It happens to all the greats, all the future Hall of Famers, and we're seeing now the young guys, the young up-and-comers, the younger teams coming in to contribute to this NBA playoffs. And like you mentioned earlier, where the players, the teams where they're hurt, they're hobbled, they're getting up out the paint early. These people with these injuries, they talk about load management, they end up being out of there. The Bucks, Dame, Giannis, injuries, couldn't make it through, up out of there. Even yesterday night, when you had the Cavaliers and the Magic playing against each other, Donovan Mitchell put on an epic performance while gutting it out through a knee injury. Now, I'm not calling him to say that he is an older player there as well, but he was gutting it out, but it was still not enough for them to win the game.
Not enough at all. No, that shows you Cleveland is just a little bit off from there right now, because you're right. He had a great game, 50 points, still lose the Magic. They can't win on the road, and it's hard to win a championship when you can't win on the road. They'll probably win Game 7 coming back to Cleveland. Cleveland will probably win it, but that doesn't bode well for them in the next round. You got to win on the road to be the champion. You can't just think you're going to just only win at home. They've been getting by with it right now. They may get by with it, and Orlando may even come up and win this next game. But going on to the next round, I just don't see Cleveland right now getting there. They just don't seem to have enough to make it happen.
You got a call on the line, fellas.
Oh, yes. Bring the caller on in.
It's the B1055. You're live on the air. Who is this?
What's going on? This is Eric Devendorf.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. J-GILLZ, go ahead.
Perfect timing. As we're talking about these NBA playoffs and NBA basketball, we got Eric Devendorf, former Syracuse basketball player, and went on to the NBA D-League of an illustrious career. Eric, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. I ain't Shannon Sharp or nothing, so my intros ain't the best. I ain't got that Shannon Sharp intro game. But for our listening audience, can you just let them know some of your background and who you are?
Yeah. I was born in Michigan. I played basketball at Syracuse for 4 years. After that, I went and played pro for 7 years in the G League and overseas. And now I run a nonprofit ED23 Foundation, and also I have a for-profit called ED23 Hoops, where we travel around, do camps and clinics, and I have different teams for boys and girls.
And not only, you're very modest, Eric. You're 14th on the all-time Syracuse University scoring list as well. So you left your mark at SU, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a good time, man. I had, I definitely had a solid career. A lot of great moments, probably capped off by the 6 overtime game that I'm sure most people know. But, I had a great time at Syracuse. I was lucky to have some really good teammates and obviously a Hall of Fame coach in Jim Boeheim.
Absolutely. Went back after playing and joined Jim Boeheim's staff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was on staff for 2 years as a player development, and then I spent 1 year as assistant coach at University of Detroit Mercy before coming back to Syracuse and opening up both of my businesses.
Excellent. And you're going to be in town next week, May 11th, next Saturday. Man, the time is going fast. Next Saturday, May 11th, for the celebrity softball game. How did you get involved in this celebrity softball game, Eric?
Yeah, so actually I'll be in town the day before because we're doing me, Latavius Murray, and John Walsh, we're doing a celebrity bartending event that Friday from 5 to 7 at Rochester Beer and Park. And then that next day, Saturday, we're doing the celebrity softball game for Ghana Sala, and Joe Lynch reached out to me, Premier Talent Agency, and hooked it up and asked me did I want to play and get a few people for a great cause. And it's a no-brainer to go out there and help the kids and support a great cause.
Absolutely. And you're going to be, like you just said, that celebrity bartending fundraiser is from May 10th, Friday, May 10th, from 5 to 7 p.m., Rochester Beer and Park. That's 375 Averill Avenue. 375 Averill Avenue. All proceeds goes to the ED23 Foundation as well. It's for charity. 375 Averill Avenue, Rochester, New York. Come on out, everybody, on Friday evening from 5 to 7, and have Eric and them pouring for you. But Eric, the question I wanted to ask you is, with the state of the team, with guys leaving early, I know you left early at Syracuse as well. What's your impression of the portal?
Oh man, it's a whole different landscape now. It's kind of the wild, wild west. I mean, I'm a fan of giving power to the kids and the players, but there has to be some more rules and regulations. It's just like I said, it's kind of the wild, wild west, and I'm not a huge fan of it right now. But again, being able to get paid and have the power to kind of change where you want to go, I'm all for it. But there has to be some type of rules and regulations, man. But I know one thing: if I was playing in this era, I would have been a millionaire already. So,
right, that's my next. Thanks for answering the next question.
Man. Then I would have been on a whole different level, man. I mean, I just know how. I mentioned the 6 overtime game. I could imagine how much money guys would have made just off playing in that, let alone the other seasons. But more power to the kids, man. They deserve it. They're the product. They're out there on the floor. They're the ones giving the show.
Yes, indeed. I see you have 2 daughters growing up. And how you see the emergence of the women's basketball and women's sports and college sports in general just really exploding now?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters, 15 and 13. They played basketball early on, but then they went to travel cheerleading. My youngest, and then my oldest is she's really good at track. So she's top in the state for track in her high school. But I think it's great. You know what I mean? Having two daughters, just, you know, seeing these women get the attention and recognition that they deserve for being high-level athletes. You know, we seen Caitlin Clark last night, you know, 1 month out of college, and I think she had 16 points in the first half of her
cooking.
first
She was
preseason game. So it's pretty awesome to see the women getting the attention much deserved.
Yes, indeed. J-GILLZ.
Absolutely. And we kind of went into it, you know, a little bit before you got on, but the NBA playoffs right now, what are you seeing in the league? How fun is it to watch some of these young players, Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton, and all these young guys, Jalen Brunson, while all these older guys, Steph Curry, LeBron, KD, you know, out of the playoffs right now? Who are some of these young guys that you're liking right now, and what's your expectations for the remainder of the NBA playoffs?
Man, my favorite player to watch, without a doubt, is Anthony Edwards, man. I mean, besides his talent and tenacity and how he attacks, his approach and overall, you know, how he comes into the game. You know, I'm a guy who growing up, you know, I like to talk smack a little bit. You know, it's a part of the game. It, you know, gets you going, and, you know, he brings that to the table. And, you know, you saw him against KD, man, one of the best players of all time, you know, going straight at his face and letting him know about it. It's an exciting time. I think it's the most talent that the NBA has seen in a while. The game's definitely different, but talent and skill-wise, I mean, you can't get much better than it is. And then you talk about guys last night like, you know, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, you know, probably the most skilled basketball player of all time. It's been pretty fun to watch, man.
Now, what is the Minnesota Timberwolves going to need to get past the reigning defending champions in those guys? Because that's another monster. Those are monsters, in my opinion. You got those big guys, Aaron Gordon, Jokic. You know, it's going crazy over there.
Yeah, they're not getting by them. Minnesota, that's where it ends for Minnesota, to be honest. But, you know, for Anthony Edwards, they're probably going to have to add another guy who could, you know, really score the basketball. You talk about Jaden McDaniels. He's a great defender. He's great on the wing, but they probably just need to bring in another guy who could, you know, help take the load off from Anthony Edwards. I think Karl Anthony Towns, he's definitely a good player. Superstar, not sure about if he's a superstar. I think they need that wing guy who could really come and be explosive and score the basketball. And I think Jaden McDaniels is good, but you know, I think they may need to get a guy who's another level up from him.
Nice.
Absolutely. Mike Red, you have a question?
Yes, well, I always like to say thank you, Eric, for coming on. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us on Real Deal Sports Show. So thank you again. And
the old Jay-Z, huh?
Oh, yes, sir. You know how it is. Got to go with the classics. But there's one when it comes to you and your nonprofit and helping young people develop basketball skills and also life skills. When it comes to the basketball skills first, what do you see as being the skills that players need to develop today for what people have aspirations to play into the league?
The most simple fundamentals, you have to be able to master that. We're talking about dribbling and shooting first and foremost. You know, obviously footwork comes into play with that, but I'm a big fan of keeping it simple, you know, because a lot of kids can't even do the simple stuff, trying to do the step backs and, you know, combination moves and all that. I think if you could, you know, just master the simple things and then build from there, you know, that's really what I'm preaching and teaching. And you see that at the highest level. Those guys aren't, you know, working on all that crazy stuff. That's more of a, you know, reaction to the defense. But they've already mastered those fundamentals and the simplicity of the game, and you know that's where they're where they are at right now.
So having that solid foundation where they could build off of. So that's what people have to get down are the basics, and that's when it comes to basketball skills. Now, when it comes to skills off the court, what do you say would be the biggest need for our young people today when it comes to skills outside of basketball?
I think the big thing is, and I tell this to all my kids, because just to be realistic with the kids, most of them won't go play basketball or any sport after high school. That's just the reality of the situation. So a lot of the stuff that they're learning from these sports, you know, it can help them in the transition in life, whether it, you know, being able to own a business or, you know, get a job, work within a team group, a team setting. And they need to be able to learn how to, you know, work through adversity. I think that's the biggest thing, because nowadays and going back to the portal, you get in the situation, the first tough situation you get in, you kind of just, quit and don't try, and then, transfer or do whatever you do. But I think being able to work through the adversity, learn how to work through the adversity, given the skills you learn from sports, that's really the biggest thing for these kids nowadays, to be able to try to figure out that and navigate that.
Excellent. How can people get in contact with you, Eric, for your camp and for your businesses?
Yeah, so you could find me on social media. It's at ED23Hoops. That's my for-profit. And then for the nonprofit, it's at ED23 Foundation. And then I also have the website, ed23hoops.com. And then my nonprofit is ed23foundation.org.
Excellent. Thank you for coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule to come on Real Deal Sports Show. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday or next Friday evening at the at 375 Averill Street from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the bartending. We're going to check out your bartending skills, Eric. See if you can handle the pressure of bartending to so many people from 5 to 7 p.m. next Friday, 375 Averill Street. And then Saturday for the celebrity softball game. The gates open at 4:30. Game at 5:30. Look forward to seeing you next weekend, Eric, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. Looking forward to seeing you guys next weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, man. Yeah, you too.
All right, and that was Eric Devendorf. I remember when he was shooting those threes back in the day, J-GILLZ, man, and now it's real popular in the NBA. It's real popular in the NBA now with the three-point shots and the things of that nature, and Hey, he definitely made it happen and continuing to help young people out.
Absolutely. It's good to have him on the show, doing a phenomenal job, and we're going to can't wait to next week. Celebrity All-Star game is here. Finally done made it.
And now it's time, it's almost time I can hear the wheels turning, BacSpin time coming up. I wondered, did you get a chance to meet up with Ezekiel Elliott yet and have a chance to reminisce about the good old days?
Zeke coming back.
Zeke coming back. Right, BacSpin.
No doubt.
Yeah, you get a chance to talk to Ezekiel Elliott yet, and
we all in. You know what I'm saying? We all in. That's all I can say. We all in. Whatever the hell that means.
I hear you all in, and sad to say Michael Irvin is out at NFL Network. Sorry to hear that about Michael Irvin.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
I don't know what happened, but Michael
Keep
Irvin.
the job, man. Can't keep the job. That's terrible. My God.
Hey, he's been posting some quality information over there on YouTube. So I think he's gonna be fine.
I hope so. He's good at his job. He's a good analyst, and he brings excitement to the show. So I hope he lands on his feet.
Same here, and he's not the only one out. Phil Simms is out. Boomer Esiason got the boot too. Now you got J.J. Watt and J.J. Watt coming into the studio now. So hey, it must be something about the old guys, man.
That's what it is. When you start to make too much money, they start to get rid of you. My boss always says, "Don't ask for a raise, because that's when you get raised up out of there. Ask for bonuses."
Oh, I like that tip, man. That's a good one, man.
Yeah, and that made a whole lot of sense to me, because the minute you start making too much money, they start to look like, well, where can we cut the fat at? And you're the first one on the chopping block. So, yeah, don't ask for a raise. Ask for a bonus.
Hey, we're going to leave that.
What do you make of this dog fight, man?
Drake's still winning to me, man. Yeah, I'm saying but what Kendrick dropped today?
My God.
Oh my goodness.
My God.
Oh my goodness. Like Meet the Grams.
That's
a smoker. Jeez. You know what I'm saying? I said K Dot, he upped the ante with that one. So he's still losing in my opinion, but not by much now.
No, that right there did it, man.
So he broke it down in the lamest terms where the average rap fan could understand every bar he spit, and he was coming with some blows. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Drake does to respond to this.
Game 7 coming up. Game 7 between those two coming up. That thing went 7 games. They thought it was gonna be a sweep.
Right? That's a whole fact. Oh, the Real Deal Sports Show. I thank you guys, man. We gonna check back in with y'all next week. Hopefully we can get the Fanatic back. I know he's doing big things in down there in the bayou. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed
But,
he is.
we gonna get him back real soon. But thank you, my brothers. Y'all make sure y'all have a great weekend.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Keep it where you need it, Rock City. On the way. It's the Back in Time Mix Show right here on the Beat 105.5. You know the vibes.